Ambassador Shankar, do you agree with what Professor Lucas said, that he still sees it like a tactical visit and not strategic? And I'm opening it to all my panelists. Ambassador Shankar, first to you.
Well, I would say that substance-wise, it's dealt with softer issues. You know, the MOUs are on mobility of people, on food safety, on health, on fertilizers, and there is this economic plan laying out a roadmap for the trade and investment relationship till 2030. So it's dealt with many of the softer issues. It signaled continuity and reliability in the relationship at a very difficult time when India is facing pressure from the United States and Russia is sought to be isolated by the US and the Western countries, Western Europe. So it's at a very important juncture, I think. But substance-wise, I would say India has been careful to maintain a balancing act in terms of the equities it has in its relationships with the West as well. I don't think that there would have been pressure from India on Russia for peace in Ukraine, but I think what India may have conveyed is the importance that India attaches to peace in Ukraine, because we borne the brunt of the consequences of the fallout of the conflict in between Russia on the one side, US, Ukraine and Europe on the other. And therefore for us, if peace breaks out, the sooner the better, because a post-conflict situation makes it easier for India to navigate its relations with the US and Russia separately without one grating on the other.
General Chauhan, your comments, tactical or strategic? And I'm running that graphic, the conversation which the Prime Minister and Putin had, and the Prime Minister very categorically saying, people think that, India does not have a side. We have a side. We side with peace.
I would say, Karthik, it's absolutely strategic.
Okay.
Look, what were we wanting from the Russians? We have now got a commitment on deepening defense cooperation via joint R&D, co-development. The summit included an agreement to cooperate on advanced military technologies, not just imports. We've been wanting an agreement with them for pushing for localization, make in India product for Russian systems. Russians are offering us greater localization, engine upgrades, spare part manufacturing, MRO, maintenance, repair, overall facilities in India. Now, as far as the Su-57 is concerned, we've not yet made up our mind. But Russia has said, yeah, fine, we can look at that. As far as the S-500 is concerned, Russia has not given us a commitment because we haven't yet asked for it, right? But the issue is that whatever we've asked for from Russia for our air defense capabilities, discussion of additional units of the S-400 and the additional S-500, Russians have been very open and positive about it. And we don't expect an agreement straight away, but the fact is that we just started the conversation to say, look, can we get this too? Is it possible that we get it? We've signed the logistics support agreement. That's a huge advantage for India. And so also the Russians have given us an assurance of continued supply from critical spare parts, engines, support for existing Russian origin platforms. You're aware we have the T-90s, we have the T-72s, we have the BMP-2s. All of this Russian equipment needs to be upgraded, and Russians have given us a carte blanche as far as upgradation is concerned. They will do anything to for helping us upgrade this equipment. Russians are passing on, telling us that, look, we have this experience in Ukraine, and we've dealt with the Turkish drones that Pakistan and Bangladesh is now showing off with, and this is how they dealt with it, and they have not allowed the Turkish drones to operate in Ukraine. And if we can help neutralize the Turkish drones. Russians are willing to give us all the technology for it also. The joint interest in high-tech cooperation, that would be looking for again, beyond classical arms, civil military, R&D, next generation systems, discussion to include space cooperation, high-tech manufacturing. These are all major strategic issues. I really can't understand why the good professor would not feel that these are strategic
I
issues.
have a different
I think we've achieved a
General
great
John, I
deal.
have a different question for him. I have a different question for him. Sir, let me be the devil's advocate here. Professor Lucas, let me be that. Why?
Sure.
And my question to you, sir, is that Ukraine war is Europe's war. It's not India's war. Why do we need to see this summit from the perspective of the war that is taking place in Ukraine? It can be independent of it.
Well, I mean, the reality of this is, first of all, is that the cost of the Ukraine war on the Russian economy go beyond the 1.3 million casualties. Talk about the fact that you have a Russian economy which is running into serious difficulties, stagnating growth, increasing inflation, increasing government deficit, that its space for this type of expansion of trade is actually being restricted because of the type of invasion economy. Now, that may be short term, but it's there while this continues. But secondly, I think you have a broader problem in terms of this, which is, as we have seen highlighted, not just by the US sanctions, but by international sanctions, that if Russia continues to want to try to seize territory, and that if it continues to refuse a ceasefire, then the secondary sanctions will stay in place. I don't think they're going to be removed. And already that's causing a big issue where India is in terms of its energy policy. In terms of the broader question, I fully appreciate what the general's saying. I just think we're having a slight difference in terms of how I see strategy versus tactics. And that is what I see is that India is willing to work with a series of partners in terms of developing its military.